Okay, welcome to a Monday. It's kind of midday right now. We had a nice weekend around here. It has been running a little cooler than you might expect for this time of year, especially in the Central Valley. This week we might see temperatures, well, in Redding, I think we will see 100 degrees. Sacramento is going to be close, but we're going to see temperatures come up a little bit tomorrow, noticeably 3 to 4, 5 degrees in some places in the Central Valley. And then on Wednesday, it hovers there. And then it cools right back down. The upshot is we haven't had a lot of bad air quality days. Fire danger is as minimal as you can have for this time of year. We have heat advisories down by Phoenix, which is just one more day, which is awesome. Heat advisories in Alaska, which is sort of unusual. Temperatures near Fairbanks could hit 85, 90 degrees, which is causing some melt concerns, right? Because you get glaciers and you get 90-degree weather, you're going to start seeing some runoff. So we'll look at that as well. The national map shows us a little bit of everything. Weather systems still tweaking to the north. And really, if I was to pick out, let's see, maybe I can draw it in. Let's see, jet stream, something like that. Something like that. So this persistent trough out here is the reason that our weather has been kind of flatline, right? And then this ridge of high pressure is the reason it's been so, dare I say, damn hot down in the desert southwest. And then rain in this area because of this trough and some flooding concerns, some high water concerns, things like that. So all tied together, let's move forward. We'll talk first about San Francisco. Today's going to hit 63 degrees for a daytime high. Tomorrow, San Francisco goes 67. Redding today, 93. Very, very pleasant for Redding. Tomorrow, Redding goes 97 degrees. Sacramento today, 88. Tomorrow, 93. Fresno 95 today, LA 82 today. Here's the satellite loop. This is this morning, mid-morning, and you see the fog being scoured away from the coast. Inversion's not that powerful, not that strong. Some nice weather down in Santa Barbara, clear skies in Malibu. And then you got this eddy, this Southern California eddy, which sets up all the time. That's just a wind flow thing, topography, whether it be the islands or the coastal hills creates an eddy, a back eddy. And so you get the fog kind of forming in here, sort of a not artificial low, but sort of a different kind, not generated really typically by the jet stream. So the live camera shot of Mount Diablo, right away you go, something's different here, right? Well, different is let's see if I can get this loop on here. What's different is the marine layer is kind of shearing away. So here's this morning, looking for people to go out. Sometimes you see people come out on that knob to see sunrise. But then watch how quickly the fog just kind of gets put, right? There it is, there it is, there it is. Kind of getting scoured away a little bit. So inversion not really holding up that well. And so we're seeing clearing at Ocean Beach, clearing in Pacifica right now. The inversion much shallower than it has been. It had been up here. This is around 2,000 feet. And then it dropped down. This is yesterday at this time, down to about 1,600 feet, and it's hovered. See, that's the top of the inversion right there. That's the top of the clouds. And then today, I don't know if you can see this number. I don't think you can, but that's about 1,000 feet on the inversion. So it's pretty shallow. So normally you'd go, God, I expect it to be kind of hot around here, but it's not really that case. We got a good onshore flow. It's not a northeast wind. And so we're going to see temperatures today that are going to be pretty typical or a little cooler than average for this time of year, especially along the coast. These are the forecast highs for today. Right, Ray, you pick out the heat in the desert southwest. They've had day after day. So Saturday, heat advisory, extreme heat warning. Sunday, yesterday, extreme heat advisories and warnings. Tomorrow, or today, pardon me, same thing. And then it backs off tomorrow and starts to cool down. But that's a large swath of people in the desert, in the southwest, in parts of Arizona, Phoenix, too. Those are big cities that are getting big time heat. And you can see this, our Central Valley, these are the forecast highs for today, or the highs for today. And you can see that's really manageable. For California, right, this time of year, I expect to see reds and oranges all the way up the spine of the Central Valley. Not the case. Here's how it looks tomorrow. I don't want that. Got that. Okay. But tomorrow, it's a little cooler. Let's back up. Yeah. It's just a little, just enough to cool. It cools off a little bit in the desert southwest, not a ton, but a little bit, and then it warms up a little bit. Redding comes up a degree or two. Chico back into the mid 90s. Sacramento about where it should be for this time of year, 91 degrees. These are the highs for tomorrow. Wednesday it warms up a little bit more, near 100 degrees in a place like Sacramento's going to go hit 98, 99, but and then it cools down immediately, and you'll see that in the long-range model here. So here we are looking at it. We're looking at the vorticity map. We're looking, well, I'll put this in. So here's that trough we were looking at. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, so here's the persistent trough offshore. See, and then there's the ridge. That's why there's heat in the desert southwest. And then there's sort of this trough out here. And that's why the eastern part of the United States is wet, cloudy. It's been kind of icky out there in terms of rain. So the jet stream going like this and then like this. I just like to show it in because it's interesting. This is at 500 millibars or so. So you're up at 18, 20,000 feet, but it's having a big impact on what's happening on the ground. So that's why I always look at this model, because it gives you a good indication. It's not a granular forecast by any sense of the imagination, but it gives you a broad brush of, ooh, these are the pressure systems aloft, the things that drive our weather. And this is about where they'll be. This is their trend right now. And so this is the trend. These models aren't accurate, complete. We call it model guidance, which is we follow this, but it's not like oh, this is what's going to happen, absolutely. That could change someday. Maybe AI will figure it out, but right now there's too many inputs, too many metrics. Here's that trough. That's why we cool off. We warm up, why we cool off over the weekend. This is why we warm up tomorrow, and then this is why we cool down big time as we go into Thursday, Friday. Look at that. Right, look at that big, deep trough. That could even be, models are showing a little bit of thunder shower activity in the mountains. So that pattern is very persistent. That's going to keep us out of the high fire danger zone, out of the red flag warning zone, out of the bad air quality zone, starting on Thursday again. So this pattern that we've seen thus far is going to continue. So remember last week? Remember the week before that? Remember the week before? It's kind of the same thing. Is it unusual? Yeah, it's kind of been unusual. These are heat advisories, red flag warnings up in these regions, up down towards Bishop, out towards Utah, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and then down here, those are the heat advisories and the heat warnings. One more day. And you can see, like today, they're going to go Phoenix. Where is it? Phoenix, 113. That's hot. And, Phoenix is funny, man, because it's a lot of people live there, and it's a lot of concrete, and there's not a lot of shade. Joshua Tree, 98 degrees today. Sedona, 103 degrees today. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. I don't usually show these, but I kind of like the map because it's user friendly. So you go, oh yeah, below average temperatures for the next 6 to 10 days. This one is through June 21st. So, you're going to get some time on this thing. And temperatures in the northern part of the state, well below average. Temperatures in most of California, pretty much a little bit below average. And then out east, right? So with that, what this tells me, if I was to do this, where's the jet stream lie? Watch this. So I would guess the general mean position of the jet stream is this, right? Because there's your trough, cooler air. There's your ridge, warmer air. So that is, and I wonder if that mimics, I won't work on this next one, but you get the idea. That's why I like the jet stream, because you can really, it's a great base to start from. You go, oh yeah, that's kind of where the ridge is. And then down at the surface, you're going to see heating, which we're seeing right now in Phoenix and Tucson. Below average rainfall or average rainfall, which doesn't mean much to California, except it does say in many cases, when I say California, I mean the big cities, San Francisco, Sacramento, Los Angeles, because, we don't get rain really in the summer months. It's Mediterranean climate, wet winter, dry summer. But it also will begin to indicate when this monsoonal moisture starts coming up from the Gulf of California. And you'll see these areas in the spine of the Sierra Nevada start to light up, but does not appear we're going to see much monsoonal North American monsoon is what we call it. And by the way, all a monsoon is, like you always think of monsoons as like the wet weather. It was sort of, the monsoon season, right? And blah, blah, blah in the tropics. Well, monsoon is it's just a seasonally shifting wind pattern. When the wind's blowing one way for this time of the year and it's blowing the other. It's just a wind shift. Doesn't mean dry. It really doesn't mean, it can be a dry monsoon or wet monsoon. But that's all that is. It's a wind shift, and that wind shift is you're bringing in moisture from the Gulf of California into the Sierra Nevada, and you know how that goes. And that can be scary because we can certainly get thunderstorms, which we know, which can increase fire danger. But we can also, get beneficial rainfall, which I've seen a bunch. This is PurpleAir. I just want to take a peek at it. There it loads up. This measures this. Air quality is a thing, right? It really is. And you can see why. First of all this yellow out in the Great Lakes region, that's not the end of the world. That's like a C on a report card. It's like a C. It's like satisfactory air quality. If you got real issues, lung issues, 24 hours of breathing, this stuff could get on you. Particulate it measures is 2.5 micrometers. Okay, so a human hair is about, I think it's 50 to 60 micrometers of human hair. So the hair on your head, let's just call it 50 micrometers. Well, they're measured, this site measures 2.5 micrometer particulate matter that comes from smoke, from fires, from industrial stuff, from cooking, from anything. You get this right. And so these particulate are small enough that they can get into your bloodstream, right? It's like it can bypass your body's defenses, and you have problems. You get infections and things. So when I look at this, the first thing I think about is Canada, because they have had so much smoke up here, and they still do have a lot of smoke, but things have cleared out quite a bit. You see down towards the Great Lakes, you've got less than great air quality, but not horrible. And out west, because of the weather pattern we've had, which is you're going to tend, well, I could do this. Let's do this. Thanks for hanging in. We did the forecast. We'll reiterate the forecast again coming up. But right now, this is today, right? So remember, we have this trough out here, good air quality. And then, well, that doesn't really transpire. That's mostly the smoke coming down, isn't it? But out west, I think our this troughiness that we've had is contributing greatly to what is very, very, really pretty good air quality. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go into the summer months. Air quality seems kind of boring, but it's one of those things, it affects everybody. Boy, when you live somewhere, you guys remember when we had those big smoke events coming out of those big fires we had in the summer. It's horrible. Kind of breezy up there in MtShasta. There's some lenticular clouds trying to take form, right? These, I suspect, I can't tell if they're in the forefront or behind. But these clouds, lenticular clouds, you know how they work, right? The air comes off the coastal range, hits the mountain, goes up, cools, gets refracted, bends back down and dries, and then it bounces up again. So you could easily see some lenticular clouds down here. And that's oftentimes, you know what glider pilots do? They'll find a mountain like Shasta, which they love, or mainly out by, and they'll do it out in Nevada too. But they'll ride these waves. So there's a wave. It doesn't have to get a cloud. There may not be enough moisture, but there's that. And then it bounces off the ground and comes back up. And so the glider guys that are doing, and women are doing big things, go from crest to crest. So they'll look for these wave clouds is what they're called. And they're beautiful. And they create that really cool, that really cool kind of spaceship look thing. Okay, here we are up in Northeast California where we do have a red flag warning. It's just dry. It'll be a little breezy. I like this shot only because I think about when I always think about this a lot. I don't know why, but before the California Gold, there was the Oregon Trail, right? And that was people, before there was, kind of right after Lewis and Clark, people started coming across and kind of, I don't know if they were following that path, but Oregon was like, before California, Oregon was where people wanted to go farm, free land, free that. And I think it probably had to do with Lewis and Clark, because there wasn't a lot of California exploration at that time, at least from inland. There was a lot along the coast with the hide traders. But what I'm getting at is, when I just picture these guys coming across, these families coming across and seeing something like this, when you're coming from Chicago or Philadelphia and you see beautiful rivers and green land and open land and sky, I mean, they must have just died because it was free. It's free, right? I mean, you just, yeah, I'll take this. I'll homestead. I mean, there were rules you had to do and things you had to do, but to someone who didn't have land to all of a sudden have land, it's awesome. So whenever I see that, Eastern California, I think, because Oregon, yeah, I get, but California was like, oh man, right? Can you imagine what they thought? This is Trussells. The surf contest is over from over the weekend. They had good swell. Somebody asked me the other day about, this is where they're going to have the surfing in the Olympics. Trussells is a machine, man. It's a machine. And it literally, I just stopped as soon as I said that. It literally is going to, let's see if I can get that to go. It's literally going to throw up a bunch of surf. And there's been a lot of surf literally in the last 3 months out there. This is Santa Cruz. Look at the wind offshore. That's part of the reason the fog's going away, isn't it? Kind of a strong north-northwest wind. The swell's down a little bit. They're calling it 2 to 3, but there's a little bit of 4 foot in the water. Tide is good for the lane right now. But look at that wind outside. You can see it blowing. See it blowing this way. And if you turn in here, you get behind the point and see how glassy it is. And that's why harbors, that's why Santa Cruz is such a good harbor. That's why San Francisco, anytime you can get out of the wind and out of the swell, and so right in here, and that makes this an awesome wave. That's a little south swell right there. See how it came in from here. Sometimes I'll do that when I go to Santa Cruz. I'll sit kind of in here, just because there's not so much chirping going on. But when there's south swell, every once in a while the wave will come in, kind of push in from the south, and it's actually a better wave. But it's just not as consistent as in this case, the northwest wave or the west wave. Okay, I think we're covering stuff. We'll go skiing. Let's go skiing. They're still skiing. I talked to Bill Hudson up at Palisades. They're closed, as you know. And I was asking Billy, how long's Mammoth stay open? I don't know, man. He goes, he thought they were going to close this weekend, but they look open to me. I mean, they're running full lifts. Just shows you how much snow there is in the mountains, which is awesome. We've got kind of dry conditions up there for a while coming up. Let's get this shot, yeah. And it's kind of warm in the day. It's already into the mid-50s. It'll be in the 60s today. There's a gentleman skiing, snowboarding, but see how it's getting grooved? You can tell they're not grooming right now because they're like, oh yeah. Yeah, they're not grooming. When I say grooming, they're not running tractors over it. This is a shot we've never used. This is Catalina Island. Never been. Curious what you think about Catalina Island. Like, there's a couple things I know about Catalina Island. I think it's really close to Southern California. I'm surprised more people don't hang out there. I'm always wondering why more people don't hang out there. Like, is there something I'm missing? Like, I would think that would be like, just like packed with people. And I'm ignorant when it comes to Catalina Island. I just am. But I have heard they see lots of like UFO, UAP stuff out there, which is interesting to me too, right? It's like, what's going on out in Catalina Island? Anyway, I know. That's one of those places, literally I can pull up almost any picture in California and I can give you 10, 20 minutes either on history or on geography or weather, right? I just can't because my whole career has been built doing this. Catalina Island is one of those ones I don't know jack about. I really don't. It's weird. And I'm super mesmerized by it, especially from the old movies in the 60s, you know, Elvis movies and things like that. And then this, you're like, dude, those are Atlantic puffins. Those aren't West Coast puffins. Well, I don't know if there's a big difference. I should check. But I showed this last week, and I thought, you know, we have these puffins. And I got a lot of correspondence. And I had actually heard this. So this is a live camera. So I just kind of nature snacking around. Let's see if I move it up a little bit. Oh, play it, yeah. Nature snacking. But because the eagles aren't really around right now. But first of all, they're like penguins. They're awesome. Just look at them. Like, how awesome is that? It's a live camera. I know. You know what they do, though, that's weird, is they spend like 7-8 months out at sea, floating around, like, and swimming and stuff. They're, you know, they can dive down like for 30 seconds, a minute, and they catch fish. And then this time of year, at least, is it this time of year? Can't remember what time of year it is. I think it's August, September, October, September, June. No, it's spring through early fall. They nest at the Farallon Islands, and they sometimes show up at Point Reyes, out the lighthouse there, kind of on the rocks. And then a guy, I think I used to surf with him, but he texted and he said, hey, listen, dude. He goes, and I remember this, I've forgotten this, that the puffins would show up at 4 Mile down in Santa Cruz on the cliffs there. Well, something happened there, didn't it? But so next time I go to 4 Mile, which I haven't been in a while, just because it's been getting crowded. Like I just talked to somebody who surfed 4 Mile the other day, which is 4 miles north of Santa Cruz. That's what we call it. 4 miles. It's an awesome surf spot. There's 3 Mile and there's other spots like that. But 4 Mile, there used to be break-ins. Like you'd park, because it was be basically your car alone in the 70s, parked on Highway 1. And people were breaking into cars all the time out there. But now, I went by there about a week ago, and it was packed, a lot of people. And it's not that much there's not that much wave out there for that many people. But it's a beautiful beach. Okay, so we covered a lot. Thanks for hanging in. What else I got for you? Oh, yeah, I didn't do the Alaska. Alaska's supposed to go 95 degrees. 90 degrees, 85 to 90 degrees in Fairbanks. So they've got flood watches up there and heat advisories and red flag warnings. I meant to get more in depth on that, but these puffins just got my attention. I mean, God, right? How awesome are they? I don't know how they stay so clean. How do they stay so clean? Look at them. Look like somebody just bathed them all. I don't even know who you are, brother. Is that like a different kind of puffin? It's not even moving. It's like a fake puffin. There's no way that's a real. That's like, right? Something's up. That must be like a puffin decoy. Because everybody's moving but him. You guys know what I'm talking about? Again, this is bad pod right now, by the way. But yeah, that guy's not real. He's fake. He must be a way to get them to feel comfortable mating or whatever the heck they do. Oh, also, I had a good time with Tommy Tolbert the other day. Tommy Tolbert show. It's on YouTube and Spotify. He's you probably, I don't know if you know him. It depends who you are. If you're an athlete or someone in the Bay Area or even nationally, because he does NBA basketball. He's an awesome dude. So we did like 2.5 hours and drank beer. So I don't have maybe I'll do it. Should I do it? No, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Just go find the Tom Tolbert podcast, Tom Tolbert show. I think it was on Friday. Okay, have a great day. Rambly for sure, but we crushed the weather right off the top. Just steady as she goes, man. That's why we're looking at puffins, and some puffins that aren't even alive. I'm so glad. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with that bird? Okay, I'll see you back here.